"You've seen too much," the Apache girl warned. "Now you must marry me, or we're both punished." Thomas Reed was not the kind of man who believed in luck. He believed in work, planning, and doing things carefully. He had grown up in a small town where everyone knew each other. His father had taught him how to fix wagons, mend fences, and manage money. His mother had taught him kindness, patience, and the importance of listening. But Thomas also had a dream. He wanted more than the small town could give him. He wanted land, freedom, and a life that was his own. So when he heard stories about open land in the West, he felt a strong pull in his heart. He wanted to go there and start a new life. He wanted to be someone who could build something real. One spring morning, Thomas packed his belongings into his wagon. He filled his bags with tools, food, a few clothes, and a small Bible he carried because it reminded him of home. He also packed a notebook because he liked to write down what he saw. He believed that if he wrote things down, he could understand them better. Thomas had planned his trip carefully. He had studied maps and talked to other travelers. He knew that the land was not empty. He knew that there were many people living there, including the Apache tribe. But he believed that if he stayed respectful and careful, he could travel without trouble. For the first few days, everything went smoothly. The sun was warm, the wind was gentle, and the road was quiet. Thomas enjoyed the freedom of the open land. He liked seeing the hills stretch far into the distance. He liked the feeling of being far from the small town where everyone knew his name. He stopped at small trading posts to buy supplies. He met other travelers and listened to their stories. Some of them warned him about traveling near Apache lands. They told him to be careful and to keep his distance. But Thomas believed he could manage. He told himself that if he acted with respect, he would be fine. On the 5th day of his journey, the road became rough. The land turned into rocky hills, and the trees became fewer. The air was dry, and the heat made Thomas feel tired. He had been traveling for hours when he heard a strange sound. His wagon wheel had broken. It happened suddenly. One moment the wagon was moving smoothly, and the next moment it jolted and stopped. Thomas felt his body push forward from the force. He quickly grabbed the reins and pulled the wagon to the side of the road. He climbed down and looked at the wheel. The wooden spokes were cracked, and the metal rim was bent. It was clear the wheel would not hold much longer. Thomas felt his heart sink. He knew he could fix it, but he would need time and help. He looked around. The land was quiet and empty. There were no houses, no farms, and no people in sight. The only thing he could see was a line of trees in the distance, like a small forest. Beyond the trees, he could see smoke rising in the sky. It looked like a small village. Thomas knew he had two choices. He could try to fix the wheel himself and hope it would hold, or he could walk to the village to ask for help. He decided to go to the village. He thought it was safer to ask for help than to risk traveling with a broken wheel. He tied his horse to a nearby tree and walked toward the village. As he approached, he felt a strange mix of emotions. He felt nervous, but he also felt curious. He had never been this close to an Apache village before. He had heard stories about them, but he did not truly understand their lives. He wondered what their homes looked like, what they ate, and how they lived. When he reached the edge of the village, he stopped. He could see small houses made from wood and earth. There were a few people moving quietly, but no one looked directly at him. The village seemed calm, but Thomas felt a sense of tension in the air. He realized that he was a stranger in a place where strangers were not always welcomed. He took a slow step forward and then stopped again. He did not want to make a mistake. He remembered the advice of the travelers he had met. They had told him to be respectful and to avoid touching anything. Thomas decided to follow that advice. He spoke softly, hoping to show he meant no harm. "Hello," he said. "My wagon broke. I need help. I will not cause trouble." No one answered. Thomas waited for a moment. Then he heard footsteps behind him. A young woman appeared from between the houses. She wore a simple dress made from soft leather. Her hair was long and dark, tied back carefully. Her face looked calm, but her eyes were sharp and alert. She looked at Thomas with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Thomas felt a sudden nervousness. He realized that he was being watched, and he did not know what the woman would do. He tried to stay calm and polite. "I'm sorry," he said. "I did not mean to come into your village without permission. My wheel broke, and I need help." The woman did not speak at first. She stared at him as if trying to understand his intentions. Thomas could see that she was trying to decide whether he was a threat or not. Finally, she spoke in a clear voice. "You should not be here," she said. "This is not a place for strangers." Thomas nodded quickly. "I understand. I just need help. I will leave as soon as I can." The woman's eyes narrowed slightly. "You have seen too much," she said. "You have come too close." Thomas felt a chill run through him. He did not know what she meant. He looked around, trying to see what he might have seen. He had not done anything wrong. He had not touched anything. He had only walked in. The woman stepped closer. Her voice became more serious. "There are things here that are private, things that outsiders should not see." Thomas swallowed hard. He realized that he had made a mistake. He had not meant to break any rules, but he had unknowingly crossed a line. He felt his heart beat faster. "I'm sorry," he said again. "I did not know. I didn't mean to cause trouble." The woman studied him for a moment. Thomas could see the fear in her eyes, but also something else. It was not anger. It was worry. She spoke quietly. "If you tell anyone what you saw, you will bring trouble to this village. And trouble will come to you too." Thomas nodded. He wanted to agree, but he did not fully understand. He felt the weight of her words. He realized that he had stepped into a world he did not understand, and now he was trapped. The woman took a slow breath and looked around as if checking whether anyone was listening. She lowered her voice even more. "There is only one way to keep this from becoming worse," she said. "You must stay, you must become part of us." Thomas felt confused. "What do you mean?" The woman's eyes held his. "You must marry me," she said. Thomas felt as if the ground had shifted beneath him. He had never expected such a thing. He had traveled west to find freedom, not to be forced into a life he did not understand. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The woman continued, "If you do not marry me, the elders will punish both of us. They will think you are a danger. They will think you will tell others. And if they believe you are a danger, they will act." Thomas looked at her. He could see the fear in her eyes. He could see that she was not trying to threaten him. She was trying to protect him and protect her people. He felt a sudden wave of sadness. He realized that this was not just about him. It was about a community trying to survive in a world where outsiders often brought danger. He also realized that the woman was not choosing this either. She was being forced by her traditions, just like he was being forced by his fear. Thomas took a deep breath. He felt his heart ache. He thought of his family, his home, and the life he had planned. He wondered if he would ever see them again, but he also knew something else. He knew that if he refused, He might cause harm to the woman and to himself. He did not want that. He did not want to be the reason someone suffered. So Thomas nodded slowly. "I will do it," he said softly. "I will marry you." The woman's eyes widened slightly. She looked relieved, but also sad. She had not wanted to force him. She had only wanted to keep the secret safe. Thomas did not fully understand what was happening, but he knew that his life had changed forever. He had come to the West searching for freedom, and now he was standing in a village he barely understood, agreeing to a marriage he never expected. He looked at the woman again. He realized that he did not know her name. He realized that he did not know anything about her life. He realized that he was entering a world where he would have to learn new rules, new customs, and a new way of living. The woman spoke again, her voice gentle now. "You must come with me," she said. "The elders will decide what happens next." Thomas followed her slowly, his mind full of questions. He felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity. He did not know what the future held, but he knew that he had crossed a line he could not go back from. As he walked deeper into the village, he realized that his journey had become something much bigger than he had ever imagined. He had not just broken a wagon wheel, he had stepped into a life that would change him forever. And he had no choice but to continue. Thomas followed the young woman through the village, feeling the soft ground under his boots. The air smelled of wood smoke and fresh earth. He noticed how everything moved quietly, as if the people were careful not to make too much noise. The village was small, but it felt organized. There were simple homes, a few animals, and small gardens with plants growing in neat rows. The woman led him to a larger house at the center of the village. The house was built with thick walls and a strong roof. Thomas could tell it was important. He also noticed that the people around the house were watching them. Their faces were serious, not angry, but cautious. Thomas felt a deep sense of nervousness. He knew that he was being judged. They entered the house, and Thomas saw a group of elders sitting in a circle. They were older men and women, each with a calm face and eyes that seemed to understand everything. Thomas felt as if he was being looked at by people who could see inside him. He tried to stay calm and respectful. The young woman stood before the elders and spoke in her language. Thomas did not understand her words, but he could feel the meaning. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. Thomas realized that she was nervous too. She was not just speaking for herself. She was speaking for both of them. One of the elders, a tall man with long gray hair, spoke in a slow voice. He looked at Thomas carefully, as if measuring him. Thomas waited, unsure of what would happen next. He had never been in a situation like this before. He had never had to explain himself to a group of people who could decide his fate. The elder spoke again, but this time the young woman translated for Thomas. Her voice was calm, but there was a sadness in it. "The elders say that you came into the village without permission," she said. "They say you saw something you were not supposed to see. They say you could cause trouble if you leave and tell others." Thomas nodded. He felt his throat tighten. He wanted to speak, but he did not know what to say. He wanted to explain that he did not mean to come here. He wanted to say that he was only a traveler, but he knew that the elders had already made up their minds. He felt like he was standing in a river, and the current was pulling him forward. The young woman continued. "The elders have a rule," she said. "If an outsider sees something private, the outsider must become part of the tribe. It is a way to protect the tribe and the outsider." Thomas felt a wave of fear. He had not expected such a rule. He had heard stories about tribal traditions, but he had never believed they would affect him. He had always thought that if he was respectful, he would be safe. Now he realized that respect was not enough. The rules were different here. The elder spoke again. "Ah," the young woman translated. "You will be given a choice," she said. "You may choose to stay and live with us, or you may leave, but you must not speak of what you saw. If you leave, you must never return." Thomas listened carefully. He knew the choice was not real. He could leave, but he would still carry the secret. He knew he could not forget what he had seen. He also knew that he would not be safe if he left. He did not know what would happen to him if he returned to his own people. He did not know if he would be trusted. The elder continued, and the young woman translated the words slowly. "The elders have chosen a woman to marry you," she said. "She is the one who warned you. She will become your wife. You will live with us. You will learn our ways, and you will protect our secrets." Thomas felt his heart beat faster. He had not expected this. He had never thought about marriage. He had never thought about being part of a community that was so different from his own. He felt overwhelmed. He looked at the young woman who stood quietly beside him. She looked at him with a gentle expression, but her eyes showed the same fear he felt. Thomas realized that she was not just a person. She was also a symbol of the village's safety. She was the bridge between two worlds. Thomas swallowed hard and tried to speak. "I don't know if I can do this," he said softly. "I don't know your language. I don't know your customs. I don't know how to live here." The young woman's eyes softened. She spoke gently, translating for him. "You will learn," she said. "We will help you. We will teach you, but you must promise to respect our ways." Thomas nodded slowly. He felt a strange mix of fear and hope. He knew that he could not go back to his old life. He had crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. But he also felt that he could learn something new. He could become someone different. The elders spoke again. The young woman translated. "You must understand something," she said. "This is not a punishment for you. It is a protection. The world outside is not always kind. If you go back, you may face danger. Here, you will be safe if you follow the rules." Thomas listened carefully. He knew that the elders were trying to protect him, but he also knew that he was being controlled. He did not like that feeling. He did not like the idea of losing his freedom. But he also realized that freedom was not the same as safety. In his own world, he had freedom, but he also had responsibilities and dangers. Here, he would have less freedom, but he might have safety. The elders continued to speak. They asked Thomas questions about his life. They wanted to know who he was, where he came from, and what he wanted. Thomas answered as honestly as he could. He told them that he was a traveler, that he wanted land, and that he wanted to build a life. The elders listened carefully. They did not interrupt. They did not judge him. They seemed to be considering his answers. Thomas felt a small sense of relief. He realized that they were not cruel. They were simply cautious. After a long time, the elders spoke again. The young woman translated. "The elders accept you," she said. "You may stay, but you must follow the rules. You must learn our language. You must respect our traditions. And you must marry the woman chosen for you." Thomas nodded slowly. He felt his body relax slightly. He knew that he had been accepted. He knew that his life had changed, but he also knew that he would not be alone. The young woman stepped forward and spoke to him quietly. She looked at him with a serious expression. "This is not easy," she said, "but we will help each other. We will learn together. We will make this work." Thomas felt a strange warmth in his chest. He realized that the woman was not only a stranger, but also a guide. She was someone who could help him survive in this new world. He also realized that she was scared. He could see the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Thomas took a deep breath. He looked around the room again. He saw the elders' faces, calm and wise. He felt a new sense of respect for them. He realized that their rules were not meant to harm him. They were meant to protect the village. He also realized that he had a choice. He could choose to be angry, or he could choose to learn. He could choose to be bitter, or he could choose to adapt. Thomas made his decision. He would try to learn. He would try to understand. He would try to respect the rules. He would try to live in this new world, even if it was difficult. The young woman nodded at him as if she understood his decision. She led him out of the house and back into the village. The sun was lower in the sky now, and the air felt cooler. Thomas felt the day ending, but he knew that his life was just beginning. As they walked, the young woman spoke quietly. "Tomorrow you will meet your new family," she said. "They will teach you our ways. You must be patient, you must be respectful, and you must be honest." Thomas nodded. He felt tired, but he also felt a sense of purpose. He realized that he was no longer just a traveler. He was now part of something bigger. He was part of a community that had rules, traditions, and a way of life. He looked at the young woman and asked softly, "What is your name?" She paused for a moment. Her eyes softened, and she smiled slightly. "My name is Nayeli," she said. Thomas repeated her name slowly, trying to remember it. Nayeli. He liked the sound of it. He felt a small connection to her, even though they had only just met. As the sun set, Thomas and Nayeli walked to a small home where he would stay for the night. The home was simple, but it felt warm. Thomas felt the weight of the day slowly lift from his shoulders. He knew that tomorrow would be difficult. He knew that he would have to learn a new language and new customs. He knew that he would have to earn the trust of people who did not know him. But for the first time since his wagon wheel broke, Thomas felt a small sense of hope. He was not alone. He had been given a chance to start over. And even though his life had changed in a way he never expected, he still believed that he could make the best of it. Thomas woke up early the next morning. The sun was just beginning to rise, and the air felt cool and fresh. He had slept on a simple mat on the floor, and the room was quiet. The sounds of the village were still soft and calm. Thomas lay still for a moment, trying to understand everything that had happened. He felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity. He looked around the room and saw a few simple items. There was a small wooden bowl, a blanket, and a few tools. Everything was plain and practical. It was not like the life he had known, but it also felt honest and real. Thomas realized that he would have to learn to live with less, and he would have to learn to be grateful for what he had. He got up slowly and stepped outside. The village was waking up. People were starting their day, moving quietly and working together. Some were preparing food. Some were caring for animals. Others were repairing tools or weaving. Thomas noticed how calm everyone seemed. There was no rush, no loud noise, no arguing. It felt peaceful. Nayeli was already outside, waiting for him. She looked calm, but Thomas could see that she was also focused. She had a way of moving that showed she was used to doing many things at once. When she saw Thomas, she nodded and smiled slightly. "Good morning," she said. Thomas nodded back. "Good morning," he replied. His voice sounded strange to him. It sounded like the voice of a stranger in a strange land. Nayeli led him to a small gathering area near the center of the village. There were a few people sitting together, talking quietly. They looked up when Thomas and Nayeli approached. Thomas felt nervous. He wondered what they would think of him. Nayeli spoke to them in her language. Thomas could not understand the words, but he watched her face and body language. She looked calm and confident. She spoke with respect. Thomas felt a small sense of pride. He realized that Nayeli was trying to help him. One of the women stood up and walked toward Thomas. She looked older than Nayeli, but she had a warm expression. Her eyes were kind. She smiled at Thomas. "This is your new family," Nayeli said softly. "They will teach you." Thomas nodded. He felt his heart beat faster. He had not expected to feel this emotional. He had not expected to feel a sense of belonging so quickly. He had thought that he would be alone and scared. But now, standing in front of these people, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. The woman spoke to Thomas and Nayeli translated. "We know you did not come here to cause harm," she said. "We know you did not mean to break our rules. We also know that you are not used to our ways. But we will help you. We will teach you." Thomas felt a deep sense of gratitude. He bowed his head slightly as a sign of respect. "Thank you," he said. "I want to learn. I want to do what is right." The woman smiled. "Good," she said. "Then we will begin." Nayeli led Thomas to a small area where they kept tools and supplies. There were baskets of food, bundles of cloth, and simple tools. Nayeli picked up a small bowl and handed it to Thomas. "You will eat with us," she said. "You will learn our food. You will learn our ways." Thomas took the bowl carefully. He felt a sense of nervousness. He did not know what the food would be like. He had always eaten simple meals, but this was different. He had never tasted anything like this before. The woman and Nayeli sat with him and shared the food. The food was simple, but it tasted good. It was warm and filling. Thomas felt comforted by the taste. He realized that he was not hungry anymore. He realized that he could survive here. After breakfast, Nayeli took Thomas to meet the elders again. They wanted to see how he was doing. Thomas felt nervous, but he also felt more confident. He had already learned a few words in the tribe's language. He had learned how to greet people politely. He had learned how to show respect. The elders looked at him carefully. They asked him questions, and he answered as best as he could. They spoke in their language, and Nayeli translated. "Do you understand our rules?" one of the elders asked. Thomas nodded. "I will try to follow them," he said. The elder looked at him for a moment, then nodded. "Good," he said. "We will test you. We will see if you can learn." Thomas felt a little scared. He did not know what the test would be, but he also felt determined. He did not want to disappoint the elders. He did not want to make Nayeli feel ashamed. Nayeli guided him to a small area where other people were learning. There were children practicing games, young women weaving, and men working with tools. It was a busy place. Everyone seemed to be learning something. Nayeli took Thomas to a woman who was weaving. The woman looked at Thomas and smiled. "This is your first lesson," Nayeli said. "You will learn our language through simple words. You will learn to speak and to listen." The woman spoke slowly, repeating words and phrases. Thomas tried to repeat them. At first, his pronunciation was wrong. He stumbled over the words. He felt embarrassed. But the woman smiled and encouraged him. "You will learn," she said. "You must be patient." Thomas nodded. He realized that learning a new language was not easy. He had never been good at learning languages. But he also realized that he had to try. He had no other choice. He practiced for hours. He repeated words, listened carefully, and tried to understand the sounds. Nayeli helped him. she corrected him gently. She showed him how to move his mouth to make the sounds correctly. As the day went on, Thomas began to feel tired. His mind felt full of new words and new ideas. He felt like he was trying to drink from a river that never stopped. But he also felt a sense of pride. He realized that he was making progress. In the afternoon, Nayeli took him to the garden. The garden was small but well cared for. There were plants growing in neat rows. Nayeli showed him how to water the plants and how to check if they needed more care. She explained how the tribe used different plants for food, medicine, and tools. He was surprised by how much the tribe knew about the land. They understood the plants, the animals, and the weather. They had lived here for generations, and they had learned how to survive. Thomas realized that he had much to learn. As they worked, Thomas noticed that Nayeli was quiet. He wondered what she was thinking. He knew that she was responsible for him. He knew that she had to protect the village. He also knew that she had to follow the rules. Thomas wanted to say something to her, but he did not know what to say. He did not want to make her feel uncomfortable. He did not want to ask too many questions. He decided to wait. Later, as the sun began to set, the village gathered for a small ceremony. It was not a big celebration, but it felt important. People sat together, shared food, and talked quietly. There was a sense of community. Thomas felt like he was part of something. Nayeli sat beside him and spoke softly. "You have done well today," she said. "You have learned a lot." Thomas smiled. "Thank you," he said. "I could not do it without you." Nayeli looked at him and nodded. "You will learn more," she said. "But you must also understand something. You must respect our rules. You must respect our people. You must respect our land." Thomas nodded. He understood. He knew that he had to be careful. He knew that he had to be respectful. He knew that he could not act like he was in his old world. He looked at Nayeli and asked, "Do you ever wish things were different?" Nayeli looked away for a moment. She thought carefully. Then she looked back at Thomas. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "but we cannot change everything. We must do what is right for our people." Thomas felt a sadness in his chest. He realized that Nayeli was not just a guide. She was a person with her own dreams and fears. He realized that she was also living a life she did not choose. He realized that their lives were connected in a way that was both strange and powerful. That night, Thomas lay down and thought about everything he had learned. He thought about the language, the rules, the garden, and the people. He thought about Nayeli and the responsibility she carried. He realized that his life had changed forever. He could no longer imagine going back to his old world. He could no longer imagine living the way he used to live. He had entered a new world, and he was learning to live in it. But he also realized something else. He realized that he was beginning to care. He was beginning to care about the people in the village. He was beginning to care about Nayeli. He was beginning to care about the land. And he did not know if he was ready for what would come next. Days passed, and Thomas slowly began to understand the rhythm of life in the village. Each day felt different, but there was always a pattern. The mornings were busy with chores and learning. The afternoons were for work and sharing. The evenings were for gathering, talking, and resting. Thomas started to feel that the village was not just a place where people lived. It was a living community, connected by care and respect. Thomas also started to understand the rules more clearly. He learned that the tribe had a strong sense of honor. They valued respect, honesty, and balance. They believed that everything in the world was connected. The land was not just a place to live, it was a part of them. The people, the animals, and the plants were all connected in a way that Thomas had never understood before. He learned that he could not act alone. His actions affected others. If he made a mistake, it was not just his mistake. It was something that affected the entire village. This idea was strange to him, but he began to understand it. He began to see that the village was not a collection of individuals, but a single community. As the days passed, Thomas became more comfortable with the language. He could understand more words. He could speak slowly and clearly. He still made mistakes, but he could communicate. He could ask for what he needed. He could understand what people were saying to him. This made him feel more confident. One day, while Thomas was helping in the garden, he saw a group of people approaching from the road. They were not from the village. Thomas felt a sudden fear in his chest. He did not know who they were. He did not know why they were coming. Nayeli noticed the people too. She looked tense. She stopped working and watched them carefully. Thomas could see the worry in her eyes. The group came closer, and Thomas could see that they were not from the village. They looked like travelers. They wore different clothes. They carried bags and tools. They looked tired, but they also looked curious. Thomas felt a strange feeling. He wondered if they were going to cause trouble. The travelers stopped near the edge of the village. One of them stepped forward and spoke in English. Thomas understood his words immediately. "Hello," the man said. "We are looking for a missing traveler. Have you seen a man with a wagon? He has brown hair and a blue coat." Thomas felt his heart stop. He knew they were talking about him. He felt a wave of panic. He did not know what to do. He did not know if he should speak. The man continued, "We heard he might have gone this way. We are only trying to find him. He might need help." Thomas felt a sudden fear. He knew that if he spoke, the travelers might learn where he was. He knew that if they learned, they might bring trouble to the village. He knew that he had to protect the village. Nayeli stepped forward. She spoke in her language, and the elders listened carefully. Thomas could see that they were discussing something important. Nayeli then turned to the travelers and spoke to them in English. "We have not seen anyone," she said. "You must continue your journey." The traveler looked at her closely. He seemed to sense something. He looked around the village, as if trying to find something. He looked at Thomas, who was standing behind Nayeli, and his eyes widened slightly. Thomas felt his heart pound. He knew that the traveler had recognized him. He felt his fear growing. The traveler spoke again. "Are you sure?" he asked. "We saw a wagon wheel broken near here. We saw a trail leading to this village." Nayeli looked at him firmly. "We have not seen anyone," she repeated. "You must leave." The traveler looked at the elders, then back at Nayeli. He seemed to be thinking. He looked at Thomas again, and Thomas felt as if the traveler was trying to understand what was happening. Then the traveler said something that made Thomas feel even more nervous. "You have a new member?" the traveler said slowly. "A man who looks like he has been here for a while." Nayeli's eyes narrowed. She looked at the elders, and they spoke quietly to each other. Thomas could feel the tension growing. He knew that the travelers were not going to leave easily. The elder stepped forward. He spoke in his language, and Nayeli translated. "You must not stay here," she said to the travelers. "This is a private village."
"You must continue your journey." The traveler hesitated.
He looked at the village again. Then he nodded slowly. "We will leave," he said, "but we will remember this place." The travelers turned and left. Thomas felt his body relax slightly. He felt a wave of relief. He thought that the danger was over, But the relief did not last long. That night, Thomas could not sleep. His mind was full of thoughts. He wondered if the travelers would return. He wondered if they would tell others. He wondered if the village would be in danger. Nayeli noticed that Thomas was restless. She sat beside him and spoke softly. "You are worried," she said. Thomas nodded. "Yes," he said. "I don't know what will happen. I don't know if they will come back." Nayeli looked at him and sighed. "They may come back," she said, "but we will be ready." Thomas felt a strange feeling. He realized that the village was not just a place. It was a community that had to protect itself. He realized that the people here lived with the knowledge that outsiders might come. He realized that the world outside was not always kind. He also realized that he was part of that protection now. He was not just a guest. He was not just a stranger. He was a member of the village. His actions mattered. Thomas thought about his old life. He thought about the freedom he had once enjoyed. He thought about the life he had planned. He wondered if he would ever be able to go back. He also thought about Nayeli. He thought about the way she had helped him. He thought about her strength and her calmness. He realized that he had started to care about her more than he expected. He looked at her and asked, "Do you ever feel scared?" Nayeli looked away for a moment. She thought carefully. Then she looked back at him. "Yes," she said. "But we do not show it. We must be strong for our people." Thomas nodded. He understood. He realized that Nayeli carried a heavy responsibility. He realized that she was not just a young woman. She was a leader in her own way. The next day, the elders called Thomas to the center of the village. He felt nervous as he walked. He wondered what they wanted to say. When he arrived, the elders spoke to him in a calm voice. Nayeli translated. "We have decided," she said. "You must learn more. You must learn to help the village. You must learn to work with us." Thomas nodded. "I will try," he said. The elders looked at him carefully. They seemed to be thinking. Then they spoke again. "We also have a new rule," Nayeli translated. "You must not leave the village alone. You must stay with someone. You must not travel outside without permission." Thomas understood. He knew that this rule was not meant to hurt him. It was meant to protect him and the village. He nodded again. That night, Thomas sat by the fire and thought about the new rule. He felt a strange feeling of sadness. He realized that his freedom was now limited. He realized that he could not travel as he once did. He realized that his life had changed in a way he could not change back. But he also realized something else. He realized that he had started to feel a sense of belonging. He realized that the village was not just a place where he was staying. It was becoming his home. He looked at Nayeli, who sat quietly beside him. He felt a new sense of respect for her. He realized that she had not only protected the village, but she had also protected him. She had kept him safe from the travelers. She had kept him from making a mistake that could have hurt everyone. Thomas felt a deep gratitude. He realized that he owed the village a debt. He realized that he needed to find a way to repay them. He did not know how to repay them yet. But he knew that he would try. He knew that the next days would be difficult. He knew that the world outside might still be a threat. He knew that he would have to work hard to learn and to help. But he also knew that he had a reason to stay. He had a reason to be here. And he had a reason to protect the people who had given him a new life. The days that followed felt both familiar and strange. Thomas had learned the rhythm of village life, but he still felt the weight of the secret he carried. He knew that the travelers might return. He knew that the world outside was full of people who did not understand the village. and who might bring harm without meaning to. He also knew that the village had chosen to trust him. They had accepted him as one of their own. That trust was not something he could take lightly. Thomas tried to be helpful in every way he could. He helped with the garden, carrying water and checking the plants. He helped with repairs, using the tools he had brought from his old life. He even helped with teaching the children some of the things he knew. The children were curious and friendly. They asked him questions about the outside world, and Thomas answered as best as he could. He could see that they were eager to learn, but they were also careful. They had learned to be cautious with strangers. Nayeli watched him as he worked. Sometimes she smiled, and sometimes she looked serious. Thomas could not always read her feelings, but he knew that she was thinking deeply. He knew that she carried a heavy responsibility. She had not chosen to marry him. She had not chosen to bring him into the village. But she had accepted it, and she was doing her best to make it work. One evening, as the sun was setting, Thomas and Nayeli walked to the edge of the village. The sky was painted with soft colors. The air was quiet. Thomas felt a strange sense of peace. For a moment, he forgot about the secret, the travelers and the rules. He just felt the beauty of the land. Nayeli spoke quietly. "This is where the world ends," she said. Thomas looked at her. "What do you mean?" Nayeli smiled slightly. "The world outside," she said. "It is beyond this line. We do not go there unless we must." Thomas nodded. He understood. He realized that the village was a boundary between two worlds. He realized that he had crossed that boundary and could not go back easily. They stood in silence for a moment. Thomas felt the air on his face. He felt the land under his feet. He felt a deep connection to the place, even though he had only been there for a short time. Then, Nayeli turned to him. Her eyes looked soft but serious. "You have changed," she said. Thomas felt a sudden emotion rise inside him. He was not sure how to respond. He looked at her and tried to find the right words. "I think I have," he said. "I never expected this. I never expected to feel this way." Nayeli nodded. "You are not the same person who came here," she said. "You have learned our ways. You have learned our language. You have learned our rules. You have learned to care." Thomas felt his heart tighten. He looked at Nayeli and realized that she was right. He had changed. He had grown. He had learned to see the world differently. He also realized that he had started to care about Nayeli. He did not know if he could call it love. He did not know if that word fit. But he knew that he cared for her in a deep way. He knew that he wanted to protect her. He knew that he wanted to make her life easier. He thought about the marriage. He thought about how it had started as a rule, a way to protect the village. He thought about how it had slowly become something more. He thought about the moments when Nayeli had helped him, when she had been patient, when she had shown kindness. Thomas took a deep breath. "Nayeli," he said softly, "I want to thank you. I know this was not your choice. I know this was hard for you, but you have been kind to me. You have helped me. You have protected me. I am grateful." Nayeli looked at him. Her eyes were quiet. She seemed to be thinking. Then she spoke. "You do not need to thank me," she said. "You are part of our people now. We care for you. We will help you. But you must also understand something." Thomas waited. He felt a sense of anticipation. He wondered what she would say. Nayeli continued. "We cannot forget what happened," she said. "We cannot forget the rules. We cannot forget the danger. We must always be careful." Thomas nodded. He understood. He knew that the secret was still there. He knew that the village still needed protection. Nayeli looked at him and spoke softly. "I want you to know something," she said. "I am not angry with you. I am not your enemy. But I am not your friend yet. We are still learning." Thomas felt a small sadness. He had hoped that she would say something else. He had hoped that she would say that she cared for him too. He had hoped that she would say that their marriage could become something real. But he also understood. He understood that their relationship had started in a difficult way. He understood that trust takes time. He understood that feelings cannot be forced. He nodded. "I understand," he said. Nayeli smiled slightly. "Good," she said. As they walked back to the village, Thomas felt a mixture of emotions. He felt hope, sadness, and a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that his life would never be the same. He knew that he had to continue learning, continue respecting, and continue caring. That night, the village held a small gathering. It was not a celebration, but it was a time for sharing. People sat together, talked, and listened. Thomas sat quietly, listening to the stories of the elders. He realized that the village had a rich history. He realized that the people had survived through difficult times. He realized that they had a strong sense of community. Thomas thought about his own life. He thought about his family back home. He wondered if they would ever know what happened to him. He wondered if they would ever understand his choices. He wondered if they would ever forgive him for leaving. He also thought about the travelers. He wondered if they would come back. He wondered if they would bring others. He wondered if the village would be safe. Thomas decided that he could not live in fear. He decided that he would focus on what he could control. He would focus on learning, on helping, and on protecting the people who had trusted him. The next morning, Thomas woke up with a sense of determination. He went to the elders and asked if he could help in a more meaningful way. He told them that he wanted to learn how to protect the village without causing harm. He told them that he wanted to be useful. The elders looked at him carefully. They seemed surprised. Then they nodded. Nayeli translated their words. "You have shown respect," she said. "You have shown care. You have shown that you are willing to learn. We will help you." Thomas felt a deep sense of gratitude. He realized that he had earned their trust. He realized that he was not just a stranger anymore. He was part of the village. In the following weeks, Thomas learned more about the land and the people. He learned how to read the weather, how to understand the signs of nature, and how to help with the daily work. He learned how to speak better. He learned how to be patient, and he learned something else. He learned that life is not always about freedom. Sometimes life is about responsibility. Sometimes life is about caring for others. Sometimes life is about accepting a new world and making the best of it. Thomas did not know what the future would bring. He did not know if the travelers would return. He did not know if he would ever go back to his old life. But he knew one thing. He had found a new home. He had found a new family. And even though his journey had started with fear and uncertainty, it had led him to a life that was real, meaningful, and full of care. As the sun set over the village, Thomas stood beside Nayeli and looked at the land. He felt a deep sense of peace. He realized that he had been given a second chance. He realized that sometimes the hardest paths lead to the most unexpected and beautiful destinations. And he knew that no matter what happened next, he would face it with respect, courage, and a heart that had learned to care.